Hello and welcome back to today's video. As you can see behind me, Joe and I have gained quite a few pins. I'll be completely honest, this was maybe a little bit more than we anticipated this month. I wanted to show you what we've got. This is a collection of pins that we have bought mainly, but also traded, because for the first time this month I have done my first trade. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to try and group all of the same characters together just because I think it makes it a little bit easier, and I might try and sort of put chapters in the video, so if there's a specific character that you like to collect, you can just jump right ahead to that specific person, character, animal, theme, whatever you like. So let's go. I think I'm gonna have to start with Stitch. I know I say this in every video that he features in. I think he's a very divided character. Some people adore him and love him and forgive him for being on everything. Some people, I do understand, get a little bit irritated by his constant presence, shall we say. However, I think the Stitch pins where he is dressed up as various characters are some of the best pins I've ever seen. I think they're really funny. I think they're just really simple, but there's something about them that just, I don't know, they're just fun and I really like them. First one I've got Stitch dressed as Yzma. We do have the other villains on the way from Stu Pins, however we do have quite a large order from Stu Pins on the way, so that'll be a whole separate video. This one for now, I believe Joe got from a Facebook seller slash trader. I think they do a little bit of everything, and when he found it, we thought we'd get it because we didn't grab it from Stu Pins. We then have Stitch as Maleficent here, or Maleficent's dragon. I think I did feature this in a TikTok video recently. He's quite clearly the dragon. I keep saying Maleficent beforehand just because as soon as I see the horns, that's it. And he's got a ducky. There is, I think this whole range is Stitch and duckies dressed as. When I was using My Pin Central the other day, that seemed to be part of the description. If you're not familiar with My Pin Central, it's a really great way of documenting what pins you have as well as what pins you're in search for. I really appreciate it when people on Facebook put screenshots of their My Pin Central account, because you can see by which icon they've clicked if they are looking for it, if they have it for trade, or if they already have it in their collection and they just want people to know what they've got so far. My Pin Central has been a really good way as well for me to understand the value of our pins. We as newbies are still getting to grips, I think, with understanding what pins are worth, kind of what people are looking for, if pins are older, what's their history, and are they a part of another collection. I think it's really interesting. Joe recently, just excuse the bubble wrap, we're trying to keep them safe. Joe recently got this pin in the post. This is of course Stitch doing the washing. Very similar to Joe. He keeps saying, not my words, his. We love that pin. He's been looking for it for, I'd say, a couple of months now, and unfortunately we've seen a few people trying to sell them on eBay, I think, for quite a bit of money. However, again, he's found some really cool people on Facebook who are trading and selling, and I think he managed to get that in quite a good deal. I'm not 100% sure. We then have this little pin set here. This is from, let's see what the pin says, Kaz's Pins and, sorry, I'm going to take this pin out. Kaz's Pins and Bargains. So this was also somebody on Facebook, but I suppose they run their own pin business. So on these we managed to get this pin of Stitch baking a cake. Looks like that, really cute. As well as Lilo and Stitch playing their record. We often joke that Joe and I are very similar to Lilo and Stitch in their relationship, and I'm sure many couples probably look at them and think there's a bit of a similarity there. But that is a really beautiful teeny tiny set, and it will go really nicely on our Stitch board. Just a little side note, over the next coming months I will be filming some more in-depth pin collection videos. I think the purpose of these hauls and even my updated pin collections is just to almost do a bit of a quick fire, let me just show you what I've got, just for people to not only see what pins are out there, but also just so I can show off my pins and kind of be very proud of them. I don't ever want them to run too long, however, because I can really appreciate that sometimes listening to somebody talk for a long time isn't the most interesting. However, I have seen a couple of videos a couple of videos, I have seen a couple of comments on my videos saying that they would love to have a little bit more of an in-depth view of the collections and why I collect certain things. So I would love to share that with you, because there is definitely reasons why I collect certain pins. We have, oh, this is a really sweet one. We've got an Ohana means family here with Lilo and Stitch. This is just really sweet. We've got here Lilo and Stitch for Halloween, dressed up for Halloween there. I'm sure I've already mentioned this, but a lot of these pins are just staying in our collection. We're not trading any of these as far as I'm aware. We've got here Lilo and Stitch dancing. I'm hoping I can show these off nicely in their hula outfits. One of my absolute favourite pins that we've acquired this month is a supporting cast pin. I am genuinely tempted just to collect these anyway, even if it's for a film that I don't necessarily collect for. I just think this style of pin is really cool, and it also gives a bit of a shout out to characters that don't often have their own pin, or they may not have that many. So characters like Pleakley, which, hello, I think is like a fan favourite for so many people, but you don't see Pleakley that often, so to get them featured on a pin like this is really cool, and I just love it. I love all the colours, the characters, the details specifically. They're some of my favourite. Finally, for Stitch, where are we? Oh, this was one that I was kind of surprised to see in the post. Joe did tell me about this pin and I just completely forgot that it was coming. But this is a really, really fun pin that's kind of got a little bit of everything on there. So this has, of course, got some of your familiar kind of Fab 5 characters on, but in this time it's Fab 5. But it's also got Stitch, and Stitch is on a little spring. It does say on there, find Stitch. So I wonder, I don't know, maybe I should do a bit of research. I'm not sure what that is from. This was one that Joe found. This is from Tokyo Disney, and I believe he must have got it for about £8. So that's a really cool pin. We have actually got our Mickey board and our Stitch board next to each other. So Joe made a really cool point this morning that actually he could probably go in between the two because it features all of the characters on there. But with Stitch being the focus, to me, it's more of a Stitch pin. But I really love that. I like the colours. I like it when they've got a little added feature that makes them 3D. I think that's really fun and really special for them. I feel like we've got a lot of Stitch pins on the way. I don't know about any other pin traders out there, but we will say to ourselves at the beginning of each month, right, this is our budget, or this is what we are looking for this month. Maybe not so much monetary wise, but just what specific pins are we looking for? And then, I don't know, one thing leads to another, and you know, we're 2 weeks into April and we've got significantly more pins than planned. This, I will say in our defence, this is often because we will be scrolling through Facebook or eBay or Vinted, whatever we're looking through, and we will suddenly find a range of pins that we didn't, you know, we weren't actively looking for. And people will have really good deals and games and entries to all sorts on their Facebook where they'll be selling pins that we love for a really affordable price. We'll go, you know what, let's just get them now and then stop. This is probably a tale as old as time with any sort of collector. When you kind of get so carried away, I think is what I'm trying to say. It's yeah, it kind of creeps up on you, and then you turn around, look at what you've got and think, this wasn't planned. But it's fine, because what I will say is, within the past month, I have hit 600 subscribers. So for me, this is like my little pat on the back. Joe and I are having so much fun collecting pins at the minute and organising them, prepping for the July Pinsane event. I can't wait. And of course, every month when we have the Stew Pins live sale, I will say this month, I got absolutely carried away with it, and yeah, it's probably the biggest haul coming yet, so please do stick around, watch that when everything arrives. I am so excited. Right, moving on, we have quite a few Winnie the Pooh pins. This was never a collection I think we intended to start. It's always been a character that we've loved, but after the Stew Pins event, Joe was looking for a very specific pin that he wished he'd got at the time. However, we just didn't have a pin to trade at that moment with the individual. So We've been scouring the internet looking for this pin. I eventually found it on Vinted and I got him Pooh Bear in a pumpkin. This was one that he saw, like I said, at the event, and we just didn't have one to trade with the person, or they didn't see one that they wanted to trade for it, which was absolutely fine. So we made it a priority that this would be one pin that we found to buy, just because we didn't really want to wait to trade. And then it just took us down this rabbit hole of beautiful Winnie the Pooh pins. So I'll just show you what Joe has found. This is more of a collection for Joe. I'll be honest, he's been more actively looking than I have. So he's found some really gorgeous pins. I think these were all mostly found on Facebook. There's Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh there. This is a 55th anniversary pin, and it just says Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree. That's gorgeous. It's just so sweet. I think anything Winnie the Pooh is really sweet. We've got this one here, which has just a really beautiful classic phrase on there that just says, "You are smarter than you think, braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem." Something I think we should remind ourselves every single day. And of course, coming from the classic Winnie the Pooh stories, they've always got some really beautiful sayings and little mottos to remind ourselves. So what a beautiful pin to have in the collection. We then have, I think this is my favourite one so far that we've acquired this month. This is celebrating 20 years of the Heffalump movie. I remember watching that when it came out as a little girl. The fact that it's now got like the 20-year anniversary of it is wild. But it is this really beautiful pin of the gang. They're obviously not too sure of our Heffalump friend over here. It moves, it tilts. I think that's really cool. I didn't know that when it arrived. I was just looking at it and admiring all of the colours, and then the log tilted, which is just really sweet. These, I think, are some of the most gorgeous pins we have so far. I think the colours and the style of them just seem really beautiful, really detailed, much like the books and the films. And I'm so glad that we now have a little Winnie the Pooh collection started. A couple of pins for my own collections with my princesses. I got this Tiana set on Vinted. If I may be completely honest with you right now, I only really like this pin here. This might go in my traders. Then I also got, and this is another, like, oh, I'm so glad I have this, Sleeping Beauty supporting cast pin. I love this specifically for the colours. I think it's so dynamic. I love that we have the drama of Maleficent in the background, but then all of these characters in their primary colours in the foreground, and of course the fairies. The fairies are a kind of cast that I want to really focus on this summer. I've seen on Disney and Days Out channel, Tony is often looking for fairies. I think she likes Merryweather, I could be wrong. And I didn't really notice it at the Stupins event, but I did see that Stupins, like Richard and Stu, had some really, really cool fairy pins. And at the time, I think I was just in such a daze that I genuinely didn't take note of the fact that they were right in front of me. But my point being, basically, I'd love to collect more pins with just the fairies on, because I think they're really cool. But that, just look at the detail on that. I absolutely love it. I got this for about £20 on Vinted, which I think is on the higher end of what I would spend on pins. However, because we found so many pins this month for significantly less than that, this was like a real treat to myself to get that one. And now I have it. That's in my collection now. It's not going anywhere. Joe found this Pixar Cars set. Just simple characters. Of course, you've got Luigi, Guido, and McQueen there. We now have a really, really cool Spider-Man pin. I really hope the camera does this justice in the lighting. This is, of course, just a very simple Spider-Man mask, but what makes it really, really cool is the Spider-Man writing that shows up in the light. Joe also picked up this Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse 4-pin collection, which he's now put in one of his cases. This was to complement this particular pin here, which he found in the Stew Pins, not from Stew Pins I don't think, but at the event, and then these are the 4 that go with it. So I believe, sorry if I'm wrong, but we've got Spider-Man, Gwen, and Miguel. I think is Miguel here. Those just look so cool together, and that's just a really nice simple little set there that he has completed. To go with our 25th anniversary pin trading pins, so far we have Minnie and Mickey. We got Chip and Dale this month, or Tic and Tac if you're French, I think that's what they're called. We are saying that I think every month we're just going to buy one character, not because they're expensive, we found these for very reasonable prices, but I just think it's a collection that we want to kind of steady ourselves with getting. We have committed ourselves over the past month, pretty much since the Stew Pins event, to starting a Toy Story collection. Toy Story for me, I love the primary colours. It's as simple as that. The red, the yellow, the blue, they look great together. Toy Story pins are just really cool. Some of them are really simple, they're just the characters, but I actually think the ones where the cast get together just look really beautiful. So we got this Bullseye and Jessie pin here. I mean, just look at that. Look at how playful that looks. It's so fun. I'll give you guys a little close-up just in case you're curious to see what Toy Story pins are out there. We've also added this Pixar symbol here. We did buy another notice board from Tesco. That's currently how we are showing off our main favourite collections, I suppose. Just along here, these will eventually go up on the wall alongside the ears and the lanyards. I think what we're going to do with that new notice board is just have a Pixar collection. It's not our biggest collection yet, so I feel like they can all go together with the Monsters University pins that we have. But I just love the colours. I think it's so fun and so youthful and really, really cool together. To go with that, we have a Buzz and Woody set here, really, really simple. And to go with them, we have Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. These are fairly old. I can't remember exactly what year these came out, but I would say I think they're about 25 years old now, maybe. So yeah, really, really like them. I also just like that we've just got a lot of the kind of characters in their basic forms. They're not too crazy looking or too animated. And then Joe also found this on Facebook. So we have Ham, we've got Buzz Lightyear, more in action form, we have an alien, and then we have, sorry, the plastic's rustling, we have Jessie and Bullseye, and it just says "When Somebody Loves You," which, trigger, I know. I think that song and that scene when you're a child is one of the most dramatic moments of our life. That, and in Brother Bear, when, is it Kenai is talking to Coda about who he is, and Phil Collins is playing in the background, and it's really quite traumatizing. Yeah, so it's nice to have that encapsulated in a pin. Love that. Our Toy Story collection has really grown quite quickly this month. I don't know if it's the algorithm has seen what we're searching for, so it's just like churning out Toy Story pins, but I'm really glad we started that collection. And I think when we go to the Pinsane event, I will have a Toy Story outfit for one day. I got a t-shirt. This is like a little side haul, because yeah, I think I just got really hooked on the idea of dressing for Toy Story, I don't know, one day at Disney. And then actually I thought at the events, it's quite nice to have a little bit of Disney merch on, maybe a Loungefly, who knows. So I got some Toy Story ears off of Vinted for a really reasonable price. To go alongside that, I got this Toy Story top off of Vinted for like £2.50. And then totally randomly I came across these Adidas trainers. I think they're the Adidas Continental style. They are in my size. They're a tiny bit snug on the toes just because technically I'm a 7. These are a 6.5, but in some Reeboks and Adidas I can get away with sizing down half a size. And they have Forky on the back. I was just like, that's a really cool, like, subtle way of Disney bounding, I guess. They have also got Forky inside giving us a little wave, but I thought these with the ears, the t-shirt, maybe like a long denim skirt, and I've seen a really cool Woody Loungefly. That's such a fun outfit for what am I trying to say, for Disney. But because we're going to the Pinsane event for 2 days, I'm going to have a Princess and the Frog look for one day, and then a Toy Story look, because I think that'll be really fun. Plus, a little tip if you're new to pin trading or going to pin events. The last one we went to, it was quite warm. They often have them in convention spaces, so you're indoors, not loads of ventilation. It's not bad at all, it's just you're slightly warmer because the room is quite full. I think the adrenaline and maybe lack of hydration. So yeah, I'm definitely prepping to be quite toasty in the room by wearing my t-shirts and stuff. Final few pins that we have, these are, 2 of these were bought. Joe got these, and they are a Wolverine and a Deadpool pin. Then we have finally a pin that I have traded for. Now, what I will say is we are not trading basically until the July event. This is a decision we've made because our trading collection is still relatively small, and so what I don't want to do is trade too much online and then by the time we get to July not have any pins left to trade. So this is my first and probably only trade so far until the July event. This was with a lovely lady called Nicole. Nicole and I have been chatting a little bit through my videos. She's been a really, really lovely lady to talk to about pins and what we're interested in. And I posted, what did I post? Oh, about our traders in my previous full-length video, and she saw I had an enchanted pin. I said, hey, would you like to trade for it? Because why not? It's nice to do at least one. And so when she showed us her collection, we were instantly drawn to this Mickey Mouse pin. He's eating fish and chips. It's for St. George's Day, I believe. And it's just so fun. I love it. I love anything with just a classic Mickey on. Thank you so much, Nicole, for that trade. I absolutely love it. Joe loves it as well. We were both like drawn to it as soon as we saw it on your photograph. Ooh, okay. I should have said get a drink beforehand because, yeah, anything where I'm talking for a long time, you might as well get comfy. Thank you so much for watching. I can appreciate sometimes when there's so much talking, it can be a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say draining to watch because I feel like that's not very in support of myself, but I can appreciate that also. I hope, if anything, these videos give you inspiration on pins that you might want to get, you may want to trade, you might want to buy, I'm not sure. You are more than welcome to obviously screenshot anything in this video if you want to put it in your in search of list. And I would also recommend, if I could kind of say anything to anyone who's new to pin trading right now, is check out my Pin Central, check out Stu Pins. They are my favourite website right now to buy pins from and also buy pin folios from. They have a live sale every month. There's no set date each month, but it is advertised on their Facebook and their Instagram. It's usually the first weekend or first Friday or Saturday of the month. That's where we do get a lot of our pins from, whether they're Disneyland pickups, whether they're pins that maybe came out last month and so they're now released, ready to get all the fun stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody who has stuck around and supported this channel. I'm having so much fun with it. It is a really nice addition to pin collecting for myself. This was obviously something that I started doing back in September when Joe and I went to Disneyland, and never in my life did I think that it would become basically like a second major hobby for me. Not even a second hobby, this is my hobby. Collecting and then showing it to you guys who I refer to as my pin pals. I'm not sure if that's already been like coined by someone else, but yeah, I absolutely love it. I, like I said, have a little plan as well coming up over the next couple months. I want to share more outfit ideas for Disney. I want to share more updates and maybe some like prepping videos for the July event, maybe some little tips and tricks. Not that anybody needs it from me specifically, but just things that I have learned as a newbie. I don't know when I'm not going to be a newbie, I'll be honest. Maybe give it a year and then I'll be like, right, we're in the community now, we're good. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. 600 of you, that is mad. I am I'm gonna say it now, I'm kind of hoping for like 1,000 before July. Whether or not that will happen, I'm not sure. I'll just have to keep working hard, of course, and work for it. Things don't just land on your lap. But I will see you in the next video, and I hope you have a fabulous day, whatever you are up to. I can't wait to see some of you in July. Chatting to you in the comments has just been so fun, and it's so nice to just be a part of such a wonderful community. So I'll see you later. Bye.